What is up, guys? Rep here, and today I'm going to be doing my Livid Farm Guide. Now, if you don't know what Livid Farm is, it's a multi-skill minigame that you unlock from doing lunar diplomacy. Now, with that being said, I'm going to get into the requirements along with lunar diplomacy and what gear you should bring, and then I will go through a full cycle of the activity, and then I will go into each event individually in more depth. And with that being said, let's get into this video. So guys, the main things you need for this mini game are a few runes, preferably a mud staff if you don't want to buy a lot of water and earth runes. And if you have it, you can wear the construction gear, which gives a 5% bonus XP gain in construction, considering that it's one of the skills trained in this activity. So it's kind of worth it. I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot, but if you want to get a bit more XP, why not wear it? Now, the runes you will need for this activity are nature runes and astral runes primarily. Now, occasionally there will be one guy, which you don't have to do this one, it doesn't do much, but you use death runes and you cast vengeance on him. I'm not entirely sure what the XP is, but it's just an alternative thing that he comes around very rarely and does. And then if you don't want to use a bunch of water and earth runes, I would strongly recommend you bring a mud staff of any kind. It'll save you several thousands of other runes that you don't really need to bring. Just wear one and it'll count for all your earth runes and water runes that you can need. And with that being said, I'm going to do one full run of the activity and show you guys what one cycle looks like. Now, I know this seemed like a lot of things that I did in a small amount of time, but once you get into the hang of it and learn how to do each individual activity, you'll be able to do it a lot faster and at a good pace. And that being said, I'm going to get into all the requirements for each different spell used and which different spell you're using at each different activity. So guys, the requirements to do this activity are to complete the quest Lunar Diplomacy, and also have the Lunar Spellbook activated. Now, for skill requirements, you need to have 70 Magic, 60 Agility, 60 Crafting, 60 Farming, and 50 Construction. Now, if you're wanting to complete all the activities and earn as much XP as possible, it is recommended to have 91 Magic. However, you can start this and do a few activities at level 70 Magic. Now, if you want to also complete all the distractions, such as the Sukkah or the random guy who needs vengeance and things like that, you need level 93 Magic. Now, with that said, I'm going to get into each individual spell and at which location you'll be using that spell. So guys, as you can see, I'm at the Livid part of the activity, and as you can see, there are empty places, and then there are places with diseased livids. Now, the first one you'll be doing is Cure Plant, which requires level 66 Magic, 8 Earths, and 1 Astral. Now, the way you do this is that each livid looks different, and it gives you a selection of 4 livids to choose from. Now, you just look at it, and then you make your decision onto which one it is, which is that one, and then you gain farming XP for doing that activity. Now guys, the next spell we're going to be talking about is Fertile Soil. Now, what this does is it gives compost to a plot, and that is all you're doing, and it allows the seed to grow. It requires 83 Magic, 15 Earth runes, 3 Astrals, and 2 Nature runes to cast. So guys, the next spell we're going to be talking about is String Jewelry, which you train by, I believe, every 3 or 5 rounds, which spawns in this bin are livid plants. And what you do is bunch them together in fives, and then you go over to this bin over here and deposit them to the trade wagon. And with that, you get 700 crafting XP per use of that. And for this spell, what you need is level 80 magic, 5 waters, 10 earths, and 2 astrals. So guys, for the fence repair activity, what you need to use is the plank make spell, which you get at level 86 magic and requires 15 earths, 2 astral, 1 nature. And I'm not entirely sure if coins are actually used in this because we're not using logs outside of the Livid farm. But what you do with this activity is you take logs from the log pile. You can either take 1 or 5. It's usually 2 or 3 broken pieces along this. There's 2 sections here, 1 on each side of that corner, 1 over here, and 1 over here. And all you do is click Convert Lumber. And when you do that, you get a lunar fence post. And what you do with that is then you run over to the broken fence, you fix it as so, which grants construction XP, and that is all you do for this activity. So guys, those are the main skilling events that you will have to do in this activity. But as you can see, Pauline here, she looks very exhausted and tired. What you do with this is you use encourage, and you pick the word or sentence that makes her feel better. So you say, look at all the produce being made. She says thank you, and it grants agility experience. Now this spell used to be what was called energy transfer, I believe, but since that's been removed from the game, I think it's the only instance where it's still used. But that is the last main event of this mini game, and I will get into the rewards next. So guys, as you can see, I am at the reward part of the activity, and what you earn by doing each activity are what are called produce points. And what produce points are, they accumulate over time of doing the activity, and you can use to purchase the rest of the lunar spells. Everything from Borrow Power to Teleport to South Falador. Now when you do this, if you were to buy, let's say you had 100,000 produce points, and you were to buy the Teleport to South Falador, you would not lose 70,000 points. You would keep it, but you would unlock that spell. So to gain all the spells on the list, you'd have to earn a total of 850,000 produce points, which would take a pretty long time if you were really wanting to do it. But there are many different methods that you could do it. You could do one in one little activity in particular, which would take longer, or in the time of each cycle, you could go for all the activities, earn as much produce points as possible. And with that being done, I'm just going to quickly talk about the different spells that you can unlock. A bunch of them are just teleports to South Falador, North Ardoon, Trollheim, group teleport to Trollheim, things like that, which could be nice if you're wanting to do God Wars dungeon and you were not maging. And another one is repair rune pouches, so that way once your pouches from the Abyss degrade, you can repair your rune pouches at a bank. And then the other one is the remote farming spell, which you use to check on plots from far away, and you can see if they're diseased or if they're dead or anything like that, and if you need to go and check on them and fix them or whatnot. Now what spiritualized food does is it takes any food in your inventory and it makes it so that you can feed it to your familiar. So if you had a combat pet, for instance, and it was injured, you could use that food on it to heal it up like it would normally for you. Now the other spell, which is called Make Leather, it tans hides, dragon hides, anything like that in your inventory 5 at a time. And it allows you to tan multiple hide types without ever having to leave a bank. And this actually can be a very good money-making method if you have that spell. Currently, if you were to do black dragon hides doing this method, you can make 2.7 mil an hour at your bank. It's very easy to do. It's slightly AFK. It's kind of like stringing bows at fletching. So guys, the next spell is Disruption Shield, which is a type of shield that you can cast that has a 1-minute cooldown that will nullify the next attack you receive from a player. However, if you were to cast, if the other player had Vengeance, then you were to cast a spell on them, any damage that you receive from their Vengeance goes through the shield, and the shield will not protect you from that. And now the next spell, as you can guess, is Vengeance Group. Now what this does is it gives Vengeance to anybody in, I believe, a 9x9 square around you, as long as they have the Accept Aid ability on. I've already talked about the teleports. They're just teleports to Trollheim, which is very nice if you have to do God of War's dungeon with your friends. You can just teleport them all to Trollheim. So guys, what this allows you to do is it's a spell that you can cast at level 99 magic, and it allows you to cast spells that are not in the Lunar Spellbook, such as Slayer Dart, Entangle, all the multiple elemental types of wave spells, Telekinetic Grab, High Alch, Bones to Peaches, things like that. It's a very limited list of spells you can cast, but you'd have to check Wikipedia to see exactly which ones you can use. But what you do is once you unlock this, you get an arcane capacitor necklace, which then you can use enough runes to cast 1,000 casts of that spell with it. And when you have that necklace equipped, you can cast those other spells while in the Lunar Spellbook. It can be kind of nice, but it also, some people may not want to give up their arcane streams or anything like that for just being able to use a different spell outside of Lunars. But that is the rewards that you can get spell-wise. I'm now going to go into the wishes section of the rewards, which you can only gain access to after you have unlocked all spells on the Lunar Farm. So guys, these are a list of wishes that you can get once you have unlocked all the spells in the spellbook. And what they are various variety of things. Some things that can help you with skilling, some things that will give things to you. Like one of which is Let It Rain Seeds, which just spawn seeds around the floor. They can be low level all the way up to very high level. So you just pick them up and it's just for free grabs. And then there's other ones such as Gimme Herbs, which puts a load of grimy herbs in your inventory. Then there is Vial My Herbs, which takes all the clean herbs in your inventory and turns them into unfinished potions of that type. And then the next one you can do is turn Lunar Lumber into runes. It turns all the Lunar Lumber in your inventory into runes, but you'll need a full inventory of logs. The next one is Reduce the Fisheye Burn, which is for the next 30 minutes. When you're cooking fish, you find a reduced chance of burning them, which can be nice if you're wanting to do a higher level fish at a lower level. And then the next one is More Planks Please, which means when you do plank make, you have a chance of receiving an extra plank when casting, which can be very nice if you're doing mahogany, where you can just gain an extra plank from it. And there's another one, Let It Rain Awesome Seeds, which do high value seeds which appear on the floor, and then you got to pick them up. And then another one is I'd Like a New Patch, which is a new allotment patch will become available nearby. It will vanish if the patch is cleared. So it's just another allotment patch that you're able to use and spawn when you purchase it. And then this one, which ties into that level 99 spell I was talking about, is an Arcane Capacitor, which is used with the Borrowed Power spell. What you do with this is you get 1,000 charges of, well, not charges, but casts in runes of the spell you want to charge it with. Then you charge it, and you have 1,000 cast when wearing that outside of the Lunar Spellbook. And then Protect the Patch for me is gives a scroll, which when used on a fruit tree or tree patch will protect the tree for the next 10 growths of that patch. So even after you've done one tree in there, it'll last for the next 10 for you, which can be very nice if you don't want to bring super compost or anything like that. But that is all of the spell rewards, wishes rewards, and all the activities and requirements for this event. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I worked really hard on this and spent a lot of hours. It was a very fun guide to make, and I think it turned out rather well. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe. Always helps. And thanks for watching. I will see you next time.